Hello! This little gem of a video is going to be about postmodern literature, and I am very excited about it because these are some of my favorites. There is one that I just want to show you because I know that a lot of other people like it. I didn't like it, and I'm not entirely sure why because I really love the postmodern era. I didn't like it at all, actually, so we'll just jump in and get that one out of the way. This is, I guess I should tell you why I'm doing this video. I actually don't know why, but when I was in college, I took a postmodern literature class, but I can remember like a few of these books just being so mesmerized by, and I think that that's just because of what postmodernism is. In postmodern literature, there's not a lot of rules that you need to follow. It's sort of a rebellion against modernist theories, and everything is just full of metafiction, and I mean, it's literally like the author brings you into his story and talks to you. It's just, and at first, when I first read it, it wasn't the first week of class. I was just very confused. I didn't understand like why the author wanted to talk to me. I didn't understand how this was going to be interesting. I thought it put a lot of pressure on me. I don't know if that's weird or not, being pressured by an author while you're reading his book. It felt weird to me, but I ended up absolutely loving this course, and if you are ever at the University of South Carolina, you should take it with Dr. Vanderborg because she is absolutely amazing and knows so much about so much. So we will just jump right in. This is Thomas Pynchon's The Crying of Lot 49, and I have heard a lot of people say that they really like this book. I didn't like it at all, really, and I really don't know why. It was just really hard to get into. I just think that it's about this woman, Oedipa Mass, and she gets a letter in the mail saying that her ex-boyfriend has died and that he has left her his estate, and it's sort of just a random chain of events that happen from then on. I don't know, it didn't mesmerize me at all, so I don't know if I would recommend that one. We will jump into one of my favorites, this one, and postmodernism is very much thought to be centered around after World War II, like Nazi Germany stuff. So there's a lot of like repercussions that were coming back to people, just a lot of questioning about classical thought, and just like a sense of confusion, and maybe that's a little bit too like why too it's a little bit more of a sad era, and not sad like tragic sad, but sad because there was a lot of just questioning about truth. If you've ever read Borges, you'll know about labyrinths. He's big on labyrinths. And that's sort of so descriptive of postmodern literature. It's just a giant labyrinth of different twists and turns and ideas, and you sort of get lost in that. But I think that there's something very enjoyable about being lost in that, and I think that's why I enjoy postmodern literature so much. Okay, so this first one that I really liked was Art Spiegelman's Mouse, and this is the cover of it. It's just really good. It's about, this is Art Spiegelman, the little mouse, and then his dad, Vladek, I think is his name, and Vladek, he escaped from Nazi Germany during World War II. It is written as a graphic novel, and it's the first graphic novel I have ever read, and I really thought that like I wasn't going to enjoy it. I think that I thought that it was just going to feel cheesy maybe, but the pictures are just as good as the words in this book. It's really interesting. The very first page, sorry, my dog's moving my computer. Peggy, stop. The first page, before it ever even goes into the actual pages of the book, what I mean by that is, like, there's your title page. If you see this guy in the striped shirt, this is Art Spiegelman, and essentially, like, what this tells us is that because he has this striped shirt on, horizontal striped shirt on, it sort of looks a little bit like a prison outfit. And what happens to him, and I really don't know if I even want to tell you this, spoiler alert, what happens is after Art's dad passes away, and after he's told him his whole story of everything, in the very end, we see Art just kind of like go mad, but not in like a really sad way, more in just like a, oh my gosh, he understands the horror of that situation. We see him kind of become prisoner to his dad's stories, and I just thought that was, if you just, I don't know, you probably have to read this like a few times. I've only read it twice, but after you read it, you go back the second time, and the pictures just make so much sense and have so much symbolism. I love this book. So go out and buy this right now. This is Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse 5. I don't know. I'm a big Kurt Vonnegut fan. I've read Breakfast of Champions. And yes, I can't say breakfast. Get over it. Breakfast. I can say it if I say it slow. But breakfast is what I have called it my entire life. So, but in Breakfast of Champions, if you've read that, there's a character named Kilgore Trout. And he returns in this little gem. It's just so good! There's this guy named Billy Pilgrim, and he gets abducted by aliens. So this next book that I want to talk about is probably one of the coolest books I've ever read. It is Italo Calvino's Invisible Cities. And this is such a cool book. It really is. It's there's these two guys, Kubla Khan, is that his name? Kubla Khan and Marco Polo. He essentially comes back and tells Kubla Khan all about these cities that he's seen. And interesting that they're called invisible cities, because do they exist? I don't know. This describes one city, and this describes another city. And that is literally what that's what 95% of the book is just glorious descriptions of cities, and they're so cool, and they have so many different types of cities, and it's fun to just like read through them all and then kind of decide like which one you would want to live in. But also throughout the novel are conversations between Marco Polo and Khan, and just kind of talking through these cities and sort of like, I don't know. Oh, another interesting thing, they don't speak the same language. Peculiar, right? My favorite chunk of this book is, I think it's the last page. It is the last page. And it is just the most beautiful and exciting way to look at life. Hopeful. It's a really hopeful piece right here at the very end. Oh, this last piece is just so beautiful. It's like a life lesson put into a novel, which, you know, is that what all novels are? Khan says, "It is all useless if the last landing place can only be the infernal city, and it is there that in every narrowing circles the current is drawing us." Polo's response is, and this is literally one of my favorite pieces of any literature I've ever read. He says, "The inferno of the living is not something that will be. If there is one, it is what is already here, the inferno where we live every day, that we form by being together. There are two ways to escape suffering it. The first is easy for many. Accept the inferno and become such a part of it that you can no longer see it. The second is risky and demands constant vigilance. Seek and learn to recognize who and what in the midst of the inferno are not inferno, then make them endure. Give them space. And I just think that is so beautiful. That's what you should do. Like, you should protect those good things that are in existence and give them space to abound. And I absolutely love that. I think it's so beautiful. Well done, Calvino. Well done. This is one of the coolest books. This is House of Leaves, and look at the front of it, the cover. Oh, it's just a labyrinth. Like, it's so cool. It's so cool. So here we have page. Okay, look at that. Like, what in the world? Like, who prints their books in this fashion? And it just gets even crazier back here. I get so excited about this book because look at this. Like, look at that. Forgive, 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 forgive. Ah! I mean, look at this. So it's written by Mark Danielewski. There it is, author on the front. So then we open it up and it says House of Leaves by Zampano. Like, what is that? You will find out what that is. And it's the coolest thing. It's literally like Danielewski is writing this book, but making it look like someone else has written it. That's just postmodern metafiction at its finest. So I hope that y'all have enjoyed this postmodernism kind of rant. Rant sort of has a negative connotation. Exploration. जान कमाई है नच नच कोयलों पे रात भी